Hey, Men Warriors, if you are thinking I'm doing all the things and still I'm gaining weight, or you're not losing weight effectively, then that is what we're diving into today, because it is not a simple individual thing. It's a myriad. You might feel like a jigsaw puzzle and a few of the pieces are missing and you're thinking, I'm doing all the things I think and I'm still gaining weight. As we go through the menopause, our bodies change. And it means that we actually have to change the things that we do in order to be able to lose that excess weight that we've got. Now, you might think, but I can't start eating more than I am because I'm just going to get fat. You won't. I'm going to share some actionable tips that you can take away today and actually start to use straight away, and they will start to have a positive impact on your weight loss. Before I dive into that, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kate Hartley. I share a weekly video with you every Monday around something related to menopause. If you've not yet clicked the subscribe button, make sure to do so you don't miss a future episode. And if you find this helpful, I would love it if you gave it a thumbs up, please. So today I'm going to first of all just give you an overview of why we shouldn't be focusing very much on weight loss. We should be focusing more on fat loss. As you start to restrict calories, which is the vast majority of us do, you think, well, I'll just eat less and so I'll weigh less. It doesn't actually work like that, because we need to be so mindful of the fact that as we go through menopause, hopefully you're strength training. If you're not, then please start, because muscles, it's not just about looking stronger and leaner. They have huge benefits literally across the board. I'll dive into that in more detail in a moment. But you want to be focusing on fat loss, not weight loss. So you want to, when you think about a pound of muscle weighs the same as a pound of fat. But muscle is a much denser tissue, so it takes up much less space. Fat is quite a big, it's quite spacious. It takes up more space. So what essentially happens is, as you are burning fat and replacing it with lean muscle, ideally, your body composition is changing. And that's what you want to go for. So you might find that the scales don't actually budge much, but your body shape and measurement changes hugely beyond recognition. And you might think, no, but I would still have to lose some weight. You may lose a little bit of weight. If you need to clean up your nutrition, if you need to get on top of some of the things that I'm going to chat about today, yes, it might be that you do lose weight. Yeah, if you're 200 pounds, then yes, clearly you're going to lose some weight. However, when you're building lean muscle and feeding your body with what it needs, everything, not just food and drink, then you are going to be reducing the stress response in the body, which then allows the body to shed the excess fat. So focus on body recomposition. Don't worry too much about the scales. They're not the best indicator of success. And I would also take away the stress of the scales if you find that it's like, oh my God, I'll just look quickly. If that is too much of a stress for you, take it away. Because one of the reasons that you're gaining weight as you go through perimenopause and menopause is because your adrenal glands do the backup job of the ovaries. So the ovaries go into retirement, sex hormones fall, and the adrenals, in a healthy, balanced person, and I'm not saying we're all in balance, but we are probably to a degree, but in a normal, person who's not particularly stressed, the adrenals will do that job and they'll do it effectively, and your menopause symptoms will be pretty much manageable. The vast majority of us are stressed before we even go through the perimenopause, with all sorts of different things. And so our adrenals are already tired by the time they have to do that job to back up the job of the ovaries. So your cortisol levels are already started, they're at a higher starting point than they ideally want to be. And also, as cortisol rises, so does insulin, which is our fat storing hormone. So stress management is absolutely key. If you're doing everything right, so you're eating healthily, you're drinking healthily, you've got your electrolytes on balance, you're getting good sleep, but you're stressed, something is big happening in your life, or lots of things big happening in your life, like they are with mine at the moment. I've got fluff around my middle, and I'm doing the stuff I need to do, and I've still got fluff, and it's that stress. But when you can understand that, you also know that once you get through that stressful period of your life, that fluff's going to come off really quickly. So it is about understanding it, and then not letting yourself worry about the fact that you've got that extra fluff around the middle. It's kind of like, well, just embrace it. It's there. Get through this sticky part of your life right now. And then you'll find that when your stress levels come down a bit, or you're able to manage them a bit better, that fluff will go. So even if you're doing everything like you should, stress is huge at making us hang on to fat and water and bloat, and it's just and of course then it has a negative impact on our sleep, which affects our satiety hormones. So I'm going to break it down into sort of manageable bite-sized pieces today, but just know that it's not just one thing, it's an accumulation of small tweaks that you can make that are going to significantly support your fat loss journey. And actually, I think you're going to find it's a heck of a lot more enjoyable than you might otherwise have thought it was going to be. So firstly, build muscle. And that doesn't mean to say that you've got to be sweating it out in the gym with huge barbells. I only ever do workouts at home, and I use small dumbbells, I use bands. Some of them I don't even use any weight, it's just body weight. That is completely brilliant if you don't have time to go to the gym or you don't want to go to the gym. Because I know gyms can be quite intimidating. I've been working out for years now, and I would still find it quite intimidating to walk into a gym. I just prefer to work out at home. So if you're struggling with ideas of workouts to do, hey, listen, if you've not yet done it, join my free Thrive and Revive Facebook group. I literally, this last week, I put together a 28-day fitness challenge. They're all free workouts, and they're a really good combination, predominantly strength training, which is what you need. But I think you'll have some real fun with it. Plus, I mean, we do like monthly themes. We have a lot of they're a really great bunch of ladies in there. So if you've not yet joined it and you do want a little bit of support and a friendly community too, I'll drop the link below in the comments box. But strength training is going to be your best ally. So I'm just going to break it down. Muscles, when you've got more muscle actually directly sucks glucose out of the bloodstream. So a lot of us are insulin sensitive, more sensitive than we should be, which is down to that falling sex hormones, the adrenal glands, boosting our cortisol levels, well, elevating cortisol levels, which makes our insulin rise. Plus, a lot of us are not eating and drinking the stuff that we should be. So our insulin levels are higher in any case. So the fact that our muscles directly suck glucose out of the bloodstream is brilliant because it helps to improve our sensitivity to insulin. Also, when you have more lean muscle mass on your body, your metabolism is boosted. So that means even at rest, you're burning more calories than for somebody who is not strength training and has no muscles. The other thing with muscles is that they keep your bones strong. So stronger muscles keep stronger bones. So you might have heard of osteoporosis or brittle bone disease. Muscles are absolutely vital to you supporting your skeletal structure. So even if you think, I don't care what I look like, I don't really care about insulin, mine's fine, you might want to care about your bone health, because osteoporosis or even osteopenia, which is like the precursor to osteoporosis, it's like the softening of the bones. You do not want that. So many people fall over and break their wrists, break their hips, and then they go to hospital, and then they might have to have a course of antibiotics, and then another course of antibiotics, and then sepsis sets in. I know that's a very doom and gloom scenario, but it's actually a very real one too. You hear of it far too many times, and it shouldn't happen. So plus hospital food is pretty rubbish. They don't really give you the food, the nutrients that you need. I'm sure some are better than others, but my experience of hospital food is just like, oh no, pack your own picnic. So just be mindful of that. You may also have heard of hope molecules. There's quite a bit of information about them on the social media. They are myokines, kinds of proteins that our bodies emit when we have more muscle, and they are known to reduce inflammation, but also really positively support our mental health and even improve hormone balance. So when you've got good muscle mass, you've got more of those hope molecules circulating around your body. Other benefits of good muscles are you will counter the effects of cellulite, because cellulite is often when your muscles are breaking down, it's part of that muscle atrophy. As cortisol rises, it has this nibbling effect on our bodies. So skin, muscles, bones, brittle bone disease. And that's what we want to keep to an absolute minimum. Bear in mind that when you've got strong, lean muscles, and it doesn't mean like you have to look like the Hulk, you've got strong, lean muscles. It means you're more able to do the things you need to do. I've just spent 2 days chainsawing in my garden, and I would never have been able to do that if I hadn't got a good base of muscular strength on my body, because it was really hard work. So it enables you to do more stuff, but it will reduce the the visual effect of cellulite. It helps to detoxify the body, because if you sweat when you strength train, you're sweating out toxins. Boosts your energy, your stamina for life, keeps your metabolism going. It helps to balance your hormones. It floods the body with happy hormones, and it also pulls up stress hormones, which are related to those overworked adrenal glands. Next is what you eat. You cannot outwork a poor diet. And diet, I mean just like the stuff you eat. 80% around about of your results will come from what you eat and drink. So even if you are doing all the workouts and you think, yeah, brilliant, you know, I've worked out extra long today, so I can go and smash it tonight in the bar or go out for dinner and just like eat all the stuff. Nutrition is absolutely key. And it's the daft thing is, if you eat the right stuff, you can eat loads. When I am really on point with my nutrition, I struggle to eat all the stuff that I need to eat in order to achieve the weight loss goals that I want to achieve. And you might say that's so backward, it doesn't make sense. If you eat enough protein, because most of us do not eat enough protein, and we need also protein to build lean muscles. If you cut out your refined carbs. So cut out the cakes, cut out the biscuits, cut out the croissants. If you have weight loss goals, just cut them out because they're not doing you any good at all. They're making your insulin levels spike, which if you remember is your fat storing hormone. They're also contributing to other chemical imbalances in your body, which are going to further lead to stress. So, you know, if you really want to lose weight, just stop eating the rubbish. Cut out the processed food, cut out the refined carbs. And you might say, oh, but I love my biscuit in the afternoon with my cup of tea. Well, find something healthier. There are loads of lovely things that you can eat. In fact, we're about to share a load of healthy snacks in my free group because I know, you know, it's we're conditioned, aren't we? We're brought up with these. Have your treat, but your treat's just making you fat. Your treat's setting off hormonal imbalances. The treat is not a treat. See it as poison. That's a bit dramatic. But at the end of the day, it's not helping you get any closer to your goals, and it's nutritionally devoid. In fact, it's not just nutritionally devoid, it's setting you up to struggle even more with your weight loss goals. So you might think it's dogmatic, but I just say, well, what are your goals? What's more important to you? Your 20 seconds that you get of a reward by eating the cake or the biscuit, or the long-term effect of eating the right stuff. And incidentally, once you start to feed your body with proper food and drink, you don't get those cravings. So you may have them for a short while, but you don't get them for long. We're doing a sugar detox in January, and because it's after Christmas, and most of us will have splurged a little bit more than we meant to. We're human. We're not like robots, but it is about, you know, as often as you can, thinking, I'm not going to actually have that today. I'm going to choose a healthier option. So just be mindful. Processed foods, like the stuff you get from the takeaway, stuff you buy from the shops in a packet that says it's healthy on the front. If there are words on the back of it that you cannot understand, just put it back on the shelf. Even things like emulsifiers that are in the vast majority of foods, and also foods that are labeled healthy, they negatively impact your gut health. Gut health is absolutely key to your fat loss. I'll be coming on to gut health in a bit more detail very soon, but just know that food marketing has so much, it drives me nuts. It's just BS, to be quite frank. So if it's a carrot and a courgette and a piece of tempeh or a chicken breast or a salmon fillet, eat it. It's one thing, you know what it is. If it's in a packet, all hidden with other names that you have absolutely no idea about, if weight loss goal is your absolute, thing you want to achieve, and you want to improve your menopause hormones, put the packaged food back on the shelf. Meal planning and meal prepping, I know it's boring sometimes, I don't like it, but it helps you get closer to your goals. So in my group, we did meal planning and meal prepping is our November theme. So if you decide to join, you can catch up on all the information I've been sharing. There's loads of free assets that I've been making for you, healthy dessert ideas, healthy carb swaps. What have I done? Healthy sauces and dressings that improve your gut health. I mean, there's just so much stuff that I've been sharing this last month so far, and there's more to come. Soup recipes, we're about to dive into slow cookers and all sorts of stuff. Just know that although it is a bit of a bore, it sets you up for success, and it's not as bad as you think it's going to be, and it saves you time, it saves you money, and it saves you wasting food as well. So you're reducing you're cutting out processed foods, you're cutting out refined carbs, you are not eating your starchy carbs like your bread, your rice, your pasta. At the end of the day, you don't need it. I know you think, oh my God, but I love my potatoes. I love my potatoes. I love your pasta, etc. The healthy carb swaps guide that I made gives you all the options that actually are nutritionally better for you, and they are lovely. I've been doing it all this last week, and I've had an absolute ball. And I love potatoes, and I've not had a potato all week, and I actually don't miss them at all. And I do feel, even though I've got this huge amount of stress going on at the minute, I have noticed my trousers are fitting slightly better. These are I'm in my brown chainsawing outfit because I'm about to go back outside and continue with my bonfire. But you have to, if you want to get the results, you have to do the things that are going to get you closer there. Eat plenty of protein. You probably need way more protein than you're actually eating at the moment. If you're strength training, you want to aim for a gram of protein for every pound that your ideal weight is. So if you want to weigh 140 pounds, you want to aim for around about 140 grams of lean protein every day. And that is hard to do, but work on it. I'll drop in the comments below, in the description box rather, the Powerful Proteins Guide. You can download that if you want, and that's just a really quick, easy way to see the various food sources, both vegan or plant-based and non-plant-based, where you get your biggest bang for your buck as far as protein sources go. And obviously lots of vegetables and berries, fruits and the fruits get a bad rap. We need fruit. But berries are probably the top end nutritionally as far as fruit goes. The good old apple is really good. So, make sure that you're eating a wide range of fruits and vegetables with your proteins, and reduce the starchy carbs as you go through the day. Even mild dehydration makes your body hang on to fat. There is a process that occurs as soon as you start to feel slightly thirsty. Your body has gone into fat hanging onto mode. It goes back to our ancestors and getting prepared for times of lean, and it will set you up for weight loss failure if you're allowing yourself to become dehydrated. To know how much water you ideally want to drink, because how large is a glass? If you have 6 or 8 glasses a day, you want to take your current weight in pounds, divide that in 2, and the answer is the amount of fluid ounces of water you ought to be drinking. So if you weigh 140 pounds, you want to aim to drink 70 fluid ounces of water every day. And make sure that you're getting your electrolytes as well. So in the morning, I always have a large warm glass of water with lemon juice, but I also add a small amount of Himalayan rock salt in there, because I don't cook with anything packaged. I make all of my own food, and I struggle to probably eat enough salt. You want around 1 teaspoon to 1.5 teaspoons of high quality salt every day. And of course, if you're sweaty, you're going to need more salt. But things like potassium, magnesium, which technically you should get from your diet, particularly if you're eating a wide range of fruits and vegetables and just healthy foods, you should be all right on that front. But you need to make sure your minerals, your electrolytes are up there too. So don't think, oh, I'm just going to flood my body with water. It's the quickest, easiest thing to do. You will be reducing your electrolytes, and that will also make you hang on to fat. Next is vitamin D3. That comes from the sunshine, and most of us are deficient in that too, particularly if you live in northern latitudes. So that's one of the few supplements I would say to take daily, is your vitamin D3 tablet, and combine that with K2, because a lot of us take vitamin D to help us manage our calcium better, to avoid brittle bone disease. But K2 tells your body where to put the calcium. And yes, we have a certain amount of K2 in our bodies, but a lot of us are deficient in it. So that's why you're better off to have the D3 K2 combination supplement. And that's what I would recommend to everybody to take every single day. And you would want to make sure you're eating or taking that supplement with something that contains some kind of fat, because vitamin D3 and K are both fat-soluble vitamins. So if you drink them with a glass of water, it's not going to really do an awful lot. So have it probably with your main meal, when you're likely to have some fat in that main meal. Also, but just quickly, vitamin D3, I mean, guys, it's literally, we need it for every aspect of a healthy lifestyle. But if you're able to get out into the ultraviolet first thing in the morning, that's going to help set up your sleep more effectively for the end of the day. Because vitamin D3, it has a profound impact on our serotonin levels, our happy hormones, and also our melatonin, our sleepy hormones. So another reason why you want to be making sure you're having your vitamin D3, it will help you sleep better. It will help you feel happier, not, as well as protecting your heart and everything else that it does, and your immune system. Vitamin D3 is absolutely key. And even if you are outside a lot, I mean, I love being outside. I have to force myself to come indoors, even in the really cold weather. I still take a daily vitamin D3 K2 supplement. And so I recommend that you do that. Sleep management really is the final tip. When you are sleep deprived, I mentioned it earlier, it affects your satiety hormone. So you don't feel full quite as soon as you might otherwise do if you've eaten a large meal. And you're also feeling hungrier more than you would do if you'd slept well. It also makes you crave the sugary things. So, you know, if you're struggling to get off the fast carbs and the cakes and the biscuits, if you've had a poor night's sleep, you're going to struggle even more because your brain just wants fast energy. It knows that in that piece of cake, you're going to get the fast energy. However, it's not thinking, if I eat that piece of cake, it's going to give me fast energy, and then it's going to make my insulin levels go high, and it's going to make me store fat more of it. You know, it doesn't actually do that. It's just for survival. You sort of your fight and flight response has kicked in, your amygdala, and you don't want that to be kicking in. So if you have had a bad night's sleep, or if you suffer with your sleep, you in the morning make sure you're eating plenty of protein. To be honest, to eat enough protein throughout the course of the day, every meal really ought to include protein. I have a pre-workout meal in the morning, which includes protein. My post-workout meal includes protein. Lunch includes protein. If I have an afternoon snack, it's high in protein. And then, of course, my evening meal is high in protein. That's when I eat all the meals that I'm supposed to eat every single day. And sometimes I don't because I'm just too busy. And I notice it as well. I'm really ready for that glass of wine at the end of the day if I've not eaten enough protein. So make sure that, and I also think protein is something you can relatively easily supplement to. I do take a muscle recovery protein drink that contains 24 grams of protein, and I also have a daily superfood shake which also contains 18 grams of protein. So that's automatically getting me quite a bit of extra protein in, and literally all of my meals pretty much I douse with a load of nutritional yeast, because nutritional yeast is also a really high natural plant-based protein source. I love the flavor of it, and so anything that's savory gets covered in nutritional yeast. There are easy ways to add enough protein. Instead of maybe having butter on your toast with avocado and an egg on top, have a cottage cheese. And because cottage cheese is a really great source of protein, make sure you're adding Greek yogurt to your food. So, you know, if you've got like maybe a vegetable soup that you've made with lentils at lunchtime, which is what I'm living on at the moment, stir in some Greek yogurt too, because that's an extra source of protein. And rather than having like bread and butter, you could always have some, you know, lightly toasted toast, and then and have that with cottage cheese on top instead, and then scatter nutritional yeast all over the top of your soup. So it's about getting, you're coming up with little things that help you get a few extra grams of protein in here, there, and everywhere. And by the end of the day, you know, it does make a significant difference, and you do feel better for it. So if you've had bad night's sleep, make sure you're setting yourself up for success by having a protein-rich meal in the morning, because it will help you stay fuller for longer throughout the course of the day. Also with sleep, just some very quick tips. Avoid screens before bedtime. Give yourself a good 90 minutes, no screens. Make sure your room is cool. Make sure your room is dark and quiet. That's fairly obvious, but a lot of us have like various lights in the room, alarm clocks and things like that. I literally would disconnect the whole lot, and I would go completely black. Blackout blinds if you live near somewhere there's you know, if you've got a street light that comes into your bedroom. Try and make it into an oasis of sleeping. So, you know, take your television out of the room if you need to. Make it so that you go into your bedroom for either intimacy or sleep. And that's all that takes place in that bedroom. And, you know, sleepy teas are great. You can get some really great sleepy teas. I would have that rather than a cup of tea, and obviously avoid caffeine, anything after, say, maybe midday, because caffeine has a very long shelf life in the body. So even if you had it at like 2 p.m., it might be having a negative impact on your sleep. And plus, tea also contains some amount of caffeine, so be careful of that. If you like a square of dark chocolate after your meal, like I do, just have one, because again, dark chocolate contains caffeine, and that might interrupt your sleep. If you wake up through the night and you've got a busy brain and you're really struggling to go back to sleep, I would suggest you box breathe. So breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, and then hold out for 4 or 6. You know, find what works best for you. And when you're really tired, and I know it takes an effort, because sometimes when I slept really badly and I think, oh, I can't go back to sleep, so I start my box breathing, but it works. And if you can just focus on your breathing, it helps to take your brain away from all the frazzle of all those silly thoughts that just go wild in the early hours. I would also recommend you do a brain dump on paper before you go to bed, because then at least you've got it out of your head onto paper. And there might be the occasional bit, you know, that you forget. But I think that really does set you up for a good night's sleep. So just in summary, focus on fat loss, not weight loss. Start strength training. If you love cardio and long distance running and that sort of thing, you might find that is contributing to belly fat or weight gain, because long distance endurance of any type is spiking that cortisol, and it might be having a negative impact on your weight loss goals. So if you love your running, I would leave it as a treat and bring it down, a few times a week, and replace it with strength training exercises that are going to help you build muscle. Also know that if you're doing long distance anything, you're actually breaking down a lot of the muscle that you're building. We really do have to switch into muscle building mode rather than breaking down mode, and endurance athleticism of any type tends to break down our bigger muscles, and it might be having a negative impact on your weight management. Make sure that you're eating the protein that you need, the veggies, the fruits, and reduce the amount of starchy carbs that you're eating throughout the course of the day. Stay hydrated. Maybe consider taking vitamin D3 and K2 supplement, and obviously really get dogmatic, really get bossy with yourself around sleep, because sleep is just huge, and it has such a negative impact if you sleep badly on your mental health, your physical health, your immune system, everything suffers, your gut health. When you eat the right stuff, and obviously reduce alcohol, when you eat the right stuff, you're going to be the vegetables and fermented foods. I would also just add in there, I should have mentioned fermented foods when I talked about nutrition. You want to be thinking about feeding your gut like you would do your favorite child. Not that the favorite child exists, of course, but you want to be mindful of the fact that the bacteria in your gut are really having a profound impact on how you show up in life. So consider adding fermented foods into your nutrition too. That could be kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha drink, lovely raw cheeses if you like cheeses. There's lots of different things that you can eat that are going to be beneficial. Greek yogurt for your gut bacteria, and that is really, really important, because even if it's a bit like poor sleep and stress, if you're doing everything right, well, stress is terrible for your gut bacteria. I'm really focusing on making sure I've got a wide range of pre and probiotics at the moment, because I'm under a lot of stress, and I know it's having an impact on my immune system. I'm 54. I've got a verruca. I mean, it's ridiculous. I've got ulcers on my tongue. I've had a sty in my eye, which I've still got, because this chronic, this stress, it's just been nuts. It's been one thing after another, and it's got worse. And it's just like, oh, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but it's been a right old time recently. And my body is showing the results of that, because of the verruca and the ulcers and the stung. So stress really is about, you can't get rid of it sometimes, but it's about becoming as resilient to it as you can. And that's why I'm making sure, some nights I go to bed at 8:30. If I'm tired, I'm in bed by 8:30, and I'm making sure that I've got a wide or a long period of time in bed, so I can try and make sure I'm sleeping enough, and I'm making sure that I'm eating well and doing the things that I know support my health. So despite stress, I'm still feeding my body with what it needs. And I'm sure that's having a massive impact, because I'm still here, I'm still fighting. So, sometimes we just have to build our resilience to stress and know that hopefully things will get better in the future. So if you're in the midst of crappy stuff, I feel you, because it's bloody horrible. So tips for immediate action. I would start, if you've not started strength training yet, I would incorporate once to twice a week as a minimum. Join my free group, because I've got a load of free workouts in there, and obviously I'm there then to support you on a more personal basis as well. And really get granular with your sleep, get bossy with yourself. I know it's tempting, especially when you're tired and you can't be bothered to get up to turn the television off and the lights off. You're almost too tired to go to bed. Just make yourself go to bed. You've watched the news again and again and again. You don't need to watch it again. Get to bed. And you might think, oh God, it's so early, I can't possibly go to bed now. If you're tired, go to bed, because your body is telling you it needs to go to bed. And there is so much research that says the hours before midnight are worth so much more than the hours after midnight. So if you can get like 3 hours in before midnight hits, you're doing pretty well. I would make sure you get outside during the day, even if you have, you're sort of stuck in an office. Get outside for lunchtime, or walk to work, or if you're like in London, get off the tube and stop earlier so you can walk a little bit further and get some fresh air and also activity into your body. Stress relief, building that resilience to stress. For me, it's strength training and time in nature and being in the garden and just doing stuff like that. I love creative stuff. Find what works best for you. Meditation for me, I'm rubbish at. And I would never force anybody or say to anybody, oh, you have to meditate. And if you can't do it, well, you need to learn because we're all different. And I'm a real doer. For me, I need to be doing things, and it's not like I'm doing them for distraction. That's what I love doing, burning stuff, chopping down trees. I love doing stuff with my hands. And for me, that is stress relief. Plus, it's another thing off my to-do list. But I get a lot of peace of mind by doing that. So find what works best for you. It might be journaling. Journaling's brilliant. And in actual fact, I'm actually in the process of creating a couple of journals, one for grief, one for anxiety, and it's a journal workbook. And I think journaling is one of those things it helps you just get it out of your head. And it doesn't have to have any tidiness. It can be handwritten, it can be typed, however it suits you best. I think there's so much power in journaling. So find what works best for you and then further support your weight loss goals or your fat loss goals with just becoming, pretty on the ball with your nutrition and making sure you're drinking enough water, but also just bearing in mind, if you cook all your own food, are you getting enough salt? And eating a wide range of fruits and vegetables and protein so that you're getting the other minerals that you need. Look at your pee. If it's pale straw coloured, you're drinking enough water. If it's clear, you're drinking too much water. If you're on medications, it can make it look different. If you take a vitamin C tablet, it can make it look more yellow. If you eat asparagus, it can make it smell different. If you've eaten beetroot, it can make it look pink. So there are various foods and medications that can actually affect the colour of your pee, but just become familiar with what is, a healthy colour for you. And I think that's probably one of the best indicators to go for. So, what do you think is something that you can work on to keep you accountable? Drop it in the comments below. What is something that you could actually start to action that you're not as ninja on it as you could be? Because most of us don't do quite as much as we should do when we say, oh, this goal is really important to me, but then life gets in the way. For me, it's probably something like meal planning and prepping, because I'm rubbish at it, because I think it's boring. No, I'm good at it, but it's just boring. But then, I don't make the mess ups then when I do my meal planning and prepping. So it's like, oh, I'll have to get bossy with myself and do it. So just be mindful of that, and let me know what your thoughts are on what you could do. And if you want to join our free community, I would love to see you in our Thrive and Revive Facebook group. It's just a really nice way of getting to know you better, because YouTube is a little bit sterile, and beyond the comments, if you're in the group, then that's my first port of call every single day, and I'm normally in there sort of 2 or 3 times, and we have live Q&A sessions together as well. So it's all a bit more fun. So if you'd like to join that, just the link's in the description box. And anyway, thank you very much for the time today, and I hope you found it helpful, and I will look forward to chatting with you again next week.